Hi everybody, Alicia Dianne here from Alicia Dianne Art, and I'm going to be reviewing our second reading from Perspective Made Easy. The author is Ernest R. Norling, and I'm really loving this book so much right now. We're a little bit into it. So the first reading we did parts 1 through 4, and for the second reading we did 5 through 8. And I'm just going to go through a little bit about what we did. I really learned a lot in these like short little parts that we have, but I think it was so helpful. So I mean, I highlight so much in this book. It's crazy. I just been like really taking advantage. But one thing that I have to say is that I didn't realize I was learning as he was explaining things. I didn't realize he was talking about 2 point perspective until all of a sudden it just like clicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's 2 point perspective. But for the longest time, I didn't understand 2 point perspective at all. Like, I just didn't get it. He used like the brick theory again about like, drawing a line from the points of a brick. And I can show you, for example, where he did that. So he used this brick idea, but instead of just doing it one way, he did it both ways, which I didn't realize that you can do the points from both directions and get 2 point perspective. I don't know. My brain has had the hardest time like wrapping around it, and I just thought it was like the most mind blowing thing possible. So that was in part 5. He also talked about the spacing of your 2 points in 2 point perspective, and that's kind of what he covered in part 6. And I didn't realize what it was whenever I tried to use it before that made it like that made my perspective like warped. If you ever tried 2 points perspective and sometimes the lines are just too sharp, and really he just explained that that was just meaning that your points are too close together, and basically like you want to keep them pretty wide apart. I mean, almost it seemed like the wider apart the better, which I never really knew before because I just didn't understand it. But when he explained it and explained how it worked, it really made sense to me. I'm not gonna go over point for point, but I just want to say that like the way that he explained 2 point perspective, it made so much more sense to me. I like feel like I can do this with anything now. And one of the things that I really kind of grasped is that you can kind of start with an object, like with a center object, and kind of like if you're using a reference image or something like that, you can start with that and then find where those vanishing points are, and then from those vanishing points, they're both going to equal to that horizon line, which is going to be your eye level. I know this is, if you haven't read the first parts, this is not going to make sense, but if you are up with me, then you're going to get it. But if you start with that object and you find the vanishing points in the eye level, then you can kind of work your way around the rest of your drawing, which to me, it was a big relief because let me tell you, my journey with perspective has not been an easy one, so that made a lot of sense. He also covered like that kind of rotating a paper, and so the idea is that you have like a straight line, and then just a little bit from that, you just put like you tack a paper, and as you rotate it, it can give you like different vanishing points. But when the paper is completely like parallel to the horizon line, then it's back to 1 point perspective, and like my brain also like exploded at that point too. And then as it keeps rotating, immediately it goes back into the 2 point perspective. So there really is no in between. It's either in the 2 points, or when it's flat, it's in the 1 point. And then I think one of the things that's really stand out is that in the first 4 parts, it really explains one of those key fundamentals of 1 point perspectives, that all of the surfaces in all of the objects in your drawing, at least one surface has to be facing the viewer. And that's sort of the idea behind 1 point perspective. Even if it's kind of angled, it immediately becomes like 2 point perspective. And it's just like if you're looking straight at a room, like you're dead in the middle and everything is just straight ahead. And that's kind of the idea of working with 1 point perspective versus with 2 point. Then you have like these two, anything on an angle is going to create at 2 points. So I thought that was really cool to understand and like really wrap my head around it. In the last part, in part 8, I know I'm going through this pretty quickly, but I mean, just like it's a lot of information, but it's not at the same time. It's just like little things to make your brain click around what he's trying to get to, which I really appreciated, because I mean, like you said, I highlighted a bunch of stuff here too, but it also talks about like the idea that you can create, if you're creating a landscape drawing, you can really create it just by kind of modeling your own like bricks together. And if you put them all, stacking them up, it can create the atmosphere, like the same atmosphere that he made with the bricks is the same atmosphere that he used with the buildings. And so I thought that was really cool. And also the idea that you can then change the eye level. Like if you wanted it to be like, if you wanted to look at a city landscape with the eye level, then you just kind of figure out that like right by where the door is, I liked that he did the eye level right there. And then from there, you create your horizon line and you're able to create a cityscape that's like looking up. So, I mean, I found this like super mind-blowing. Probably more than most people. I don't know, but I think from like the awareness that I had, which was minimal, because I mean, just about all the perspective I've been doing up till now has been, a lot of it has been like eyeballing references and just slowly like starting to understand, using reference, but not really understanding how to use the rulers and all of that. But this has made it make so much more sense for me. I'm excited to see what's in the next part. I mean, I'm like kind of like, what else can we do? But I mean, the next part, it starts about drawing figures. So we'll see what happens in that part. We're starting with number 9. So let's see, 9, 10, 11, and 12 we'll do for next week. So I hope you guys get the book. Again, it's Perspective Made Easy by Ernest Norling. I highly recommend it. It's only like $10 on Amazon. And keep reading. And thank you for joining me. I really enjoyed this book a lot. And I hope that you get the chance to read it as well with me. And if not, just read it on your own time when you get the chance to, because I think it's a great book. But it's even better if you're able to join along with me. Check out Cartoon Arts Center. We have meetings coming up in person as well as virtual. So go ahead and check that out. There's a link below. And I'll see you guys soon. Okay? So be grateful, live balanced, be yourself, and happy reading. Until next time.